Hello and welcome back to Best Bets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary alongside Newsday's Joe Maniello. Joe, how's it going?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Finally, a good week for me. Rare.
Week, right?
Yeah, 4-1.
Nice.
Which brings me to still an abysmal 16-30-1.
There you go.
Joe 3-2, 24-21-1, and I got the head-to-head too, which again, rare win for me. I'll take it though.
That should actually count as two because they had the Colt McCoy and they crushed San Francisco. So you should get 2 wins for that one.
Yeah, I probably should, but love it. Let's get into week 10. No Giants this week, so instead what we're going to do 2 best bets. We'll get to that in a little bit, but we'll start with the New York Jets, who are hosting the Buffalo Bills. Bills are favored by 13. Who do you like here?
Deja vu with the Jets. So they're home as big underdogs. Last time that happened against the Bengals, we both took the Bengals and we lost. And the 2 weeks before that, they were 7-point dogs against the Titans. We both took the Titans and they lost. So history says we should take the Jets here, but the eye test says not to take the Jets here. 13 points, big number. But the Jets can thank the Jaguars for Buffalo crushing them this week. If Buffalo had crushed Jacksonville last week, then maybe I'll take the 13. Jets being up for Buffalo, maybe they treat it the same way that the Jags did. You saw the way the Jaguars players celebrated. That was like their Super Bowl. So I just think 13 points, it's a big number, but it won't feel that big if it's like, 28-7 in the second quarter. The Jets have given up 40 or more points and 500 or more yards twice in the last 3 games. And the Bills offense, Josh Allen, I like taking a good team off a bad loss like that. You can't get worse than the 9-6 loss at 1-win Jacksonville. So I don't see many reasons to take the Jets here. The fact that they already beat the Bengals and Titans, I think, actually works against them because the Bills won't they won't overlook them. And like I said, they won't overlook them after overlooking the Jaguars last week. I was editing the NFL Roundup last week, and one of the Jaguars players said that he could see on Buffalo's sideline they weren't up for that game at all. Like Jaguars were pumped. Bills looked like they were disinterested. So I don't think I think the focus will be there. Division game. Get back on track, show the rest of the NFL, hey, last week was just a fluke. I think they win this game big. Let me give the number 41-24, and it's not even that close.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm in lockstep here. So history tells us we'll be talking about how the Jets did something crazy next week. But and
there's also tape on Mike White now. I mean, he's played 5 quarters. Yeah. Not a ton of tape, but the players know him now.
No, exactly. And I can't do it. Maybe if Buffalo just steamrolled Jacksonville, then I could convince myself, okay, maybe they're not going to be up for the game. And, the Jets have been better at home and they've kind of played the Bills close a little bit the last couple of years. But you said it. I mean, especially with the offense looking as bad as what it did. This is one of the best offenses in football, and they put up 6 points last week. They're not going to do that twice in a row. And the Jets defense has been abysmal the last 2 weeks. As you said, it was 54 against New England, 31 to Cincinnati, 45 to Indy. I mean, it's just week over week. It seems to be getting worse. And this just feels like the perfect get-right game for Josh Allen and the Bills. Right now, they're getting some doubt at 5-3, but to me, they are the best roster in the AFC, and I think they get back on track with a big win. I'll go 38-16. They steamroll the Jets this week, but who knows? Like we said, maybe next week we're talking about how the Jets did something crazy, but I'm not buying it.
Yep.
Let's get to our game of the week. We are going to go with the Chiefs taking on the Raiders. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points. What's sticking out to you here?
Yeah, it's a Sunday night game. They played last year on Sunday night, and the Chiefs won 35-31. Late Mahomes drive. The Raiders had that game. I think they were winning all game, and the Chiefs came back. But it's a tough one. I mean, every week it's week 10 now. I feel like everyone just keeps saying, "Oh, well, the Chiefs, everything will be fine eventually." And I feel like that's different in week 3, week 4, week 5. It's week 10 now. It's almost Thanksgiving, and we're still talking about this Chiefs offense. Last week they scored 13 points. The week before they scored 20. The week before they scored 3. I mean, this team is last few years they've been scoring 35 points a week. So it's so weird to see something's not right. And I kind of like the Raiders here at home. Last week was a tough week for them with the off the field tragedy, and I like the Giants last week. We both did. them being at home. Like I said, it was a trap game with the Raiders, and this game I think will obviously be up for us, basically for first place in the AFC West. There's a lot going on here, big rivalry game. Chiefs have had their number. They won, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something like that. It's been a lot, So if you take the Chiefs here, I get it. I mean, Mahomes, but the whole logic is basically taking Kansas City is just basically, oh well, they got to get it right eventually. I mean, why? Why do they have to get it right? Maybe something's not right there. And the tape is there, how to defend them. The Giants should have won that game. Tape is there on how to beat them. And last week they scored 13 points. I mean, the Packers didn't have Aaron Rodgers. The game, Packers defense is playing really well. But I just think something's not right with this Kansas City team, and I think the Raiders are just there with them. I don't think there's a huge gap in talent, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's a toss-up game, but I'll take the home team getting the points, and I think it'll be like a similar to last year, 35-31, like like a 34-30 kind of game, 34-31. So I'll take the Raiders to win outright, and Kansas City's woes continue.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was one of those guys who was saying, Kansas City's going to turn it around eventually, and time again, I was getting burned picking them. I just can't do it to myself anymore. I'm going with the Raiders. I know they're coming off a tough loss, but what they had to deal with off the field was awful, and it's tough for any team to deal with that. And number two, I mean, most teams never seem to travel well when they are going from the West Coast to the East Coast and having to play, an early game. It's a tough ask for these teams, but they're getting a home game now. Things are getting back to normal a little bit for them. And I mean, let's face it, the Chiefs defense isn't any good. So the Raiders should be able to put up points. And for whatever reason, Mahomes doesn't look like himself. He's turning the ball over a lot. The Raiders, while they're not the best defense, they could create turnovers against this Chiefs team, and I can't do it. I know they won against the Packers, but it wasn't a pretty game by any stretch of the imagination. Aaron Rodgers didn't play. If Rodgers plays, it's probably a completely different conversation we're having about the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm with you. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt either. I think the Raiders win outright. I'm going to say 30-27, field goal game, but the Raiders get it done.
There you go.
How about a best bet? We're going to do 2 this week. So what's your first one?
All right, so my first best bet is Tampa Bay. I think it's -9.5 at Washington.
Yes.
Okay, so both teams are off a bye. But I like Tampa Bay a lot in this game. 2 weeks ago they lost in New Orleans. Brady had a bad pick six to end the game, basically. So I like Brady off a bye. He's 15-4 career after the regular season bye. So I like the idea of a really good team. They're probably first or second best team in the NFC, maybe right there in the NFL. I like the idea of a great team off a bye and a bad loss. So you got 2 weeks to stew about this loss, and you're going against Washington, off a bye, but their defense has been awful. Hasn't stopped anyone. The vaunted pass rush hasn't been there this year. I think Brady just picks them apart. Taylor Heineke played well, actually, in last year's wild card game, which is one of the Bucs' toughest outs, believe it or not, during the Super Bowl run. But I don't think it happens here. I think this is a lopsided game, 9.5. You can always worry about the backdoor cover, but you can't pick games that way. So I like the Bucs a lot in this game. Brady focused team here, maybe like a 31-17 kind of game, 28-14. I think the Bucs take care of business here and get back on track.
All right, there you go. I like that game a lot. For my best bet, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans over the Saints, -3. Good call by you, by the way, taking them last week. They played well, even without Derrick Henry. And for me, with the Saints, I just don't know if they're going to be able to do enough on offense consistently now with the Trevor Siemian offense that they're going to be running out there, or even if they use Taysom Hill. I just don't buy it. I think it's a little too gimmicky, and against a really good team in the Titans, who, I mean, maybe the top 3 at worst 4 teams in the AFC. I think I'd put them in the top 3, but
sure.
I think they roll over the Saints this week. Like I said, Tannehill will be able to do enough against the Saints defense. A relatively low scoring game, but I'm gonna go like 24-17. The Titans win by a touchdown.
I'm actually taking New Orleans in the paper because I agree with you. Tennessee should win this game. They won 5 in a row since the Jets game, but it's just one of those games. Like I saw it on the schedule, and I was like, the spread's only 3. I mean, the Saints should be a little bit higher, I think. So it just feels like I agree. It's a low-scoring game, like 2017. I'm doing the whole George Costanza with that one, the opposite pick. I just think it's going to be a I think the Saints might win the game, to tell you the truth. So hopefully for you, I'm wrong, but I have a feeling it's going to be a bizarre game.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to take a note on that on Sunday. What about your second game?
All right, so my second game is I'm sticking with the Bays, Green Bay. I think that line is now down to 3.5. Is that right, against the Seahawks?
Yeah, let me double check that. Yes, 3.5.
Okay, I think it opened at 5 or 5.5. So you're getting some value there because I guess there's some, unsure if Rodgers is going to play. It sounds like Aaron Rodgers is going to play, and Russell Wilson's back, so that's part of it too. But I don't know, the Seattle team, they're not the same team they've been in recent years. Defense isn't that great. Your buddy Jamal Adams hasn't been a good pickup for them, and I don't think that even if Rodgers doesn't play, I think the Packers can cover this number with Jordan Love. Tough first start for him at Kansas City, and his poor mom and sister, I think, sat all the way on top.
Yep.
Couldn't even get some better seats. So in Green Bay, comfier, confines. I think that even if Rodgers can't play, and I think he will, I think the Packers can cover this number. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. I don't think Seattle can stop the run game. But the biggest reason I like Green Bay is their defense. I mean, they held Kyler Murray in Arizona, undefeated at the time, on the road in prime time to 21 points. And I think one of those touchdowns was late. And then at Kansas City, they held Mahomes to only 13. And the defense played really well. They had some injuries in the secondary, but they battled. And I just think they also, last week they lost for the first time since week 1, but they covered. It was 6.5, so they did cover. They haven't not covered since week 1. They've one game was a push. So they're on a 7-0-1 run against the spread. Team covers are like the opposite of the Chiefs. All they do is cover. So I think that at home, I think they're a much better team, even with Wilson. Russ will have a little rust, so I don't think he's. You can't just say, "Oh, Russell Wilson's back." They're gonna win. Even before he was playing, they've had some stinkers. So I don't think it's gonna be. He's back, and they're just gonna steamroll Green Bay. They're a really good team, probably the best team in the NFC right there with Tampa Bay. So I like them a lot in this game to cover with or without Rodgers.
Yeah, I agree with you too, by the way, on the Russell Wilson side of things. I think it's going to take him a couple of weeks to get right again. I don't think it's fair to say, oh, he's going to come right back and start, throwing for all these yards, especially against a good defense like Green Bay. So I like that pick a lot as well. I'm going to go with the Rams -4 over the 49ers. Rams coming off of a loss. This is a divisional game for them, obviously. They're going on the road now to take on the 49ers, but I just don't trust this 49ers team. It feels like they're falling off the rails a little bit. And in order for the Rams to keep pace in this, extremely talented NFC where you have a ton of teams on top, they need this game and they need it badly. And I think they could win by more than 4. I think they probably, I don't know, I'm going to go 34-24. They win by 10, something like that, even on the road in a divisional game. I know these things usually tend to be closer games, divisional games like that, but I don't know. I'm really down on the 49ers with how they've been playing the last few weeks.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Rams, the 49ers at the last week, I wanted to fade them so fast after they made me look bad. And my first thought was to take the Rams. But similar to the Tennessee game, I'm not trying to poo-poo your picks here, but it's good that we have some different picks. Viewers probably say these guys pick the same games too much. But the Niners is weird. They've lost 10 of 11 home games. So last year they were 1-7, and this year I think they've lost all 4. But guess what the one win was against the Rams?
Of course.
Not that really matters. That was Jared Goff. But I like you said, it's a division game. I think the Rams will win, but I don't know. That 4, I think it's going to be like a 3-point game. I think it's going to be a close, wild Monday night game. You saw it last week with the Bears. I mean, Steelers had that game wrapped up, and then a crazy fumble happened, and the Bears covered, and they almost won. So I think it's going to be a close game. So I actually went against my original pick, and I took the Niners.
Oh, okay. Surprising there. How about an underdog? Who do you like this week?
Okay, so like I always say, like when you look at the schedule, you want to, when you make your picks, best bet, underdog, you want a game to pop out to you, right? So one game popped out to me immediately. Vikings at Chargers. I just thought, wow, that game's going to be like 40-38. So I think it's going to be a super close game. If you like betting overs, go to the bank, take all your savings out. I'm just joking. But I don't see how either defense stops either offense here. I think it'll be up and down the field. Kirk Cousins is having a great year. Justin Herbert is having a great year. The Chargers, I feel like I might have overvalued them. A couple weeks ago, I picked them as my lock against the Patriots, and they got totally outplayed. Last week they struggled to put away the Eagles. So I don't think they're as good as I thought. I mean, I really like the coach and quarterback there. And they got Keenan Allen, they got Michael Williams, they got a bunch of good receivers, and Austin Eckler's great. It's a really good team, but I don't know if they're at that level I thought they were yet. And the Vikings, I mean, all they do is play close games. I mean, could you imagine being a Vikings fan? I mean, last week, another overtime loss. They played 3 overtime games. First game of the year, they lost to Cincinnati, then they beat Carolina. Last week they lost to Baltimore. They're in every game. So I just feel like they can win this game. I think I am actually picking them to win the game outright. I think this is their week. The things just finally go their way. I'm not going with their due because I hate that line. But they just played so well. I mean, they're not played so well. They haven't been able to finish, but their offense has just been really outstanding. And defense is obviously bad, but it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think it's 2.5, right? Vikings plus 2.5.
3.
Oh, it's 3. Great. That makes it feel even better. I think it's one of those games where it could actually be like a 1-point game, like a 35-34, 40-38, something weird like that. It's going to be a super close game. Maybe it'll go to overtime again. I mean, who knows with the Vikings? All they do is play close games. But I think they're a live dog in this game. So give me the points. Give me the 3. I feel good about the 3. Vikings plus 3.
Yeah, I like the Vikings too a lot this week, and the Chargers defense just can't stop the run, so I think that plays into the Vikings' favor as well. So I'm going.
I actually wrote that too, but then I read that Dalvin Cook has some off the field issues, so I got nervous. But
yeah,
I think he's playing, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons plus 9 versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I don't think Atlanta wins this game, but I think it's a much closer game than what we're, being led on to believe here with this number being at 9. I got to give the Falcons credit, man. They're sneaky 4-4. Matt Ryan's been playing pretty good the last few weeks. And, with this Dallas defense, I don't know. They could give up some points here. I think it'll be a little bit of a shootout, maybe like, 31-27 kind of win for Dallas, but I think the Falcons will do enough offensively to, keep pace here. And again, people were counting out Matt Ryan earlier, but he's a really damn good quarterback, and I think he's proven that the last few weeks, and I think he continues to put up, pretty good numbers, and they stay in this game for a while here.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson, he's been playing great. Same kind of thing with 3 for 3 with your picks. Like I had Atlanta. I think I thought about taking Atlanta, but I feel like it's one of those games where, like last week, similar to Buffalo, Dallas got blown out. They lost 36-10. It was 30-0 at home against the Broncos, who I think are bad. But I think it's similar to Buffalo. They come out and just put up 21 points in the first quarter. But I agree. Falcons have played pretty well the last few weeks, so they can definitely keep this a close game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good that we have some disagreement. As you said, we're kind of on the same page with a lot of things, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so I'm taking Dallas in that one.
There we go. We're going to run through these again real quick for you. Bills minus 13. Both Joe and I like Buffalo this week. For our game of the week, the Chiefs and the Raiders, we are both on the Raiders plus 2.5. Best bet, my first one, I'm going Titans minus 3 over the Saints. Joe is going with the Bucks minus 9.5, and they are playing Washington. For the second best bet, I'm going Rams minus 4 over the 49ers. Joe is going Green Bay minus 3.5 over Seattle. Underdog pick, I like the Falcons plus 9 against Dallas, and Joe is going with the Vikings plus 3 against the Chargers. Joe, appreciate it as always. A lot of fun. We'll talk again next week.
All right, Matt. Great job. Thank you.